Hello Bodgerites, and we're back again with the Mini. Yay! Everyone loves it. It's a little bit brusque today, so we've got straight away the obligatory cup of coffee, not sponsored by whoever the hell they are. Bought some carb cleaner, because forever useful. Some easy start, an actual one that hopefully will spray properly, and classic WD-40, all that kind of stuff. Some more random bits and bobs. Everyone loves these sort of videos, right? Nope. Slick and sealer. We bought some more parts from these guys, not sponsored by, but whatever. Did have a few issues with a couple of parts, but they sorted it out pretty quick, which is nice. So got the final brake piece for the back of the car. Nice brake pipe. Got some more electrical connectors because most of the ones on the car are all crusty, so we bought some of those. These are going to be really handy actually with the car because of the flip front, and I need to take the headlights obviously off, or at least detach them. That is how I'm going to wire them. So I've got 4-way wires like these, apparently waterproof, we'll have to see. And yeah, I'm going to be able to wire them in so when you take the front end off, you can disconnect the headlights and then move the whole front end to wherever you want. Obviously it would be impossible otherwise. We've got a carb rebuild kit. You don't seem to get a lot with these things most of the time, but yeah, it comes with a new little jet and all that kind of stuff, and gaskets, so that's going on today. Because if you remember from the last video, we had a lot of leaks. Hopefully that fixes it. And then a bunch of gaskets. We've got 3 of them, I think, in there, and hopefully that will also stop any leakages. And then some just heavy grit sandpaper for the body filling. So yeah, today back on carb duty. Yeah, it was boring as hell last time, but this time we're going to make it run. Hopefully, eventually. There we go. Give it a bit more of a clean kind of. It doesn't really look like it, but I haven't got that toothbrush with me yet. Either way, there's one of the gaskets. You can just about see them on here, and that is this bad boy here. When I first opened it, I was like, "Ah, crap! I've ordered the wrong things. I'm not quite sure what this is for yet." I thought it would have been for, I don't know. I've got no idea. I'll figure that out after. But yeah, I'm gonna change that gasket there, and then figure out this other one, slap it all together, and then we'll skip ahead. But yeah, just thought I'd show you. That's where the old gaskets go. Interesting, eh? Basically, it's the top of this. There's some old gross fuel in there. Probably should clean that out too. And the reason why you want to clean it out is that. Look at the state of that in there. Appreciate this is probably not the best camera footage you've ever seen, but that is full of, I don't know, just old dirty sediment and all sorts. And obviously that is some kind of filter over there on that, what do we call it, part. So yeah, clean that bugger out. If your Mini runs funny in any kind of way, get the carb stripped down and get that crap out of there. Gross. Okay, I'm being a total noob to carburetor rebuilds. That little weird sort of cog looking thing in there, suspiciously like this metal thing here, so I'm pretty confident. Whoop. That needs to be changed, so I'm going to swap that too. So look what that looks like. Right, as I'm doing this as I go, if you're struggling to get that pin out there, because it is a bugger to try and pull out, the way I figured it out, pretty obvious probably to most people, to get your pliers in that little groove there and on the opposite end of the pin and squeeze it tight that way. Obviously you don't want to snap anything, so get in that groove against that middle piece and then squeeze it and the pin should start dropping out. And then you'll be able to grab hold of this and pull him straight out. Well, probably a bit of twisting, but he'll come out, and then you can change that other piece. Oh yeah, now I've got that out. It's just a case of swapping this thing. It does look a little bit different. Again, in newbie land, I'm not quite sure. But as far as I can work out, I think it just literally pulls out. Let's just work them out, yep. It just pops out. They're quite similar, slightly different in design looks, but it's going in. It's obviously the right part. It looks fairly clean in there. Apologies, my hands are super shaky, but yeah, I'm just going to drop the new pin in, or the jet, and then yeah, so at least a bit tidier, isn't it? Get this bugger back together, and then figure out what this gasket's for. Right, like it or not, it seems to be becoming a actual carb rebuild video because this is taking up a hell of a lot of my time. We flipped it over, and by the looks of things, to change this sort of needle thing, I guess is needle jet, I don't know. It looks like we're going to have to take everything off, so we're going to undo this, and basically all these things that need to come off. That little clip thing looks like a pain in the butt, and whatever needs to come off so I can get this out, and then yeah, hopefully change that, and maybe that gasket then will make sense. So let's find out what happens when I take all this apart. Alright, I'm pretty sure my phone's going to melt. Poor phone with all the petrol on my hands right now. So this little clip bit of a weird looking thing. That went on that way around. It's got a little notch hole and it's sort of slots on top of this, I guess you call it a ball. Let's get in a bit closer for you. There you go. So he's a bit of a weird one. You got to sort of pry the top of this up with a flat head so it pops up, and then pull it out a little bit, and then push the bottom bit down underneath where my thumb's pointing, and then it kind of pops off and then slides down here. This is probably very basic stuff for most people, but for me, who's never done it before, it's very odd. So I'm going to clean this up again with some carb cleaner, and then I'm assuming I've got to then pop this ball off. Yeah, there we go. It does actually come off. Try and remember how this all goes, and then all this then will unbolt off, and I can hopefully get to, I'm assuming, what will be the bottom of that gold piece. So yeah, didn't have to particularly unbolt anything. This pretty much just slots up and out. I'm assuming you can take this hose off. I've undone the bolt, but there's like a little line inside it. I'm guessing, I don't want to take all this part again, but I'm guessing in there's a way of popping that off. Whoop, excuse the blurriness. I'm guessing there's a way to pop that off, but yeah, it's alright. I managed to do it. Just careful, obviously, you don't break that line. So pull them out, and then I'm guessing it's just a case of going to be unbolting all these little bolts. Yeah, undo all these, who knows what size they are yet, and then we're going to get into the bottom of there. Let's see what that looks like inside. For now, I'm going to clean it all up and stick it all back together. There we go, all back together. The bit I thought was a needle jet thing, so this little bugger, it won't focus, but whatever. Still no idea what that is. The bit that I thought was the needle jet was actually this plunger at the bottom of it. When it goes through, that's where the little hole goes through. So I'm gonna guess, for now, could be wrong, so please correct me, that those two, or that bit on that round gasket, are for a different kit. I will keep looking around it just to be sure, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, maybe it's like a universal kit or something. I think I've also discovered, you might have been eagle-eyed and might have already spotted this, the problem with this carburetor and one of the reasons why it's leaking. Yeah, look at that crack. Never spotted it before. And for now, I'm just going to try and like put some silicone or something in it, just because I want to see if this thing runs. But yeah, it's worse than it looks, that crack. So I'm going to guess, although it doesn't come through on this side anywhere, maybe it's leaking. At least, if we turn it this way, can we see in there? Yeah, it is. That bit up the top there is the inside of that crack, so that is why I'm having so much problems with leaking. Absolute buggers. So for now, I'm going to silicone it up just so I can get it to run. And obviously it's not going to work for a long term, but we'll see if we can get it to run, at least make sure its engine goes, and then we'll buy a better carb. We'll upgrade. We'll go bigger and better, baby. There we go. Slap some high temperature sealant on there for now. It does mix with petrol apparently, so you know, it's like I said, it's very much a temporary repair for test purposes. But yeah, let me know if anyone else has ever done a carburetor and had a crack like that. Let me know in the comments. I'd be interested to hear that. Whoa! I don't know if that sounded good or bad. Son of a bitch. You get so close and then just don't. So nearly there. So close. Alright, very randomly to finish this video up, because you know, again I made very little progress other than a bit of a cough and a bit of a here and there. We're going to work out how these headlights are supposed to go. So like I said, these switches pull apart, and trying to do this in there is pretty much impossible. So I'm going to figure it out on one, and then I can replicate it on the other, and all I've got to do then is figure out the wiring on the actual car side for how the switch is going to go. So for now, because it's, you know, there's no instructions, not helpful. I figured out that yellow now, or at least yellow position on here, is going to be earth. I could make it black, it doesn't really matter, at least not for my own wiring. So whilst we've got the yellow one just slapped on like this, we can then see what each wire does. So from what I figured out, blue, whoop, not like you can really see, I will do it from here. Blue is normal beam, as we can see. If we do black, full beam. So as you can see, we've got more bulbs lit up. Might be hard to see because of it. So I do blue, there's the one, and add the black. There's your full beam. Cool, eh? Right, excellent. So we now know, once we get onto the car, which way they go. Then we add my little ancillary wires. This is pretty tricky to do though. So just jam that in there. Go on, jam in there, buddy. A little tiny red wire is, whoop, flickering like a mofo. Little tiny red wire is the daylight running light. It's very nice, isn't it? There we go. I'll just go around the outside edge. It's a bit like a halo light. Like I scratched that bulb already. Holy crap. And that leaves the final colour, which is a little teeny weeny green one. It should be indicator. Indicating. Very cool. And obviously I can unwire that then into the side repeater indicator over here, which would be cool. Very nice. So now I know the rough configuration. I could, like I said, alter it, there's no point. And I just need to figure it out then on the cars. Obviously the indicator one isn't too hard, but then I gotta figure out where it goes onto a switch. And my switches don't seem to want to work most of the time. Obviously this one is pretty straightforward. Whoop. Like so. And this indicator we know works like so. Obviously that will go to the flash unit and then to the hazards and the indicator on the thing. And then obviously to this as well. So yeah, very pointless, but I've just figured out the wiring, so now I can then attempt to figure that out in another video. Like and subscribe, all that kind of crap. Eventually these videos will get exciting once the mini starts and runs. But a few more random bits of crap, i.e. a radiator, second hand, so we'll have to see if it works. And it comes with all the pipes, and I got a thermostat coming as well. So we should be able to actually plumb some fuel in once I buy a new car, but obviously. And then, yeah, we won't have to worry about it overheating or anything. Sweet, see you next time.